Hello, everyone. Oh, the TV's still there. Cool. I have amazing news for Microsoft. Microsoft, singular entity that you are. If you are watching this, I hope you are happy. Up until yesterday, my least favorite file format to work with had been FAT32. The beautiful file format of FAT32, in which if you encounter a file name longer than 11 characters, you have to read a series of long name entries backwards. And before you even know that you're looking at a file, you will find its name backwards, that you have to read it backwards. And you read it within each entry. You read 5 characters from here, skip all of this, read 6 characters from here, skip this, read 2 characters from here. Absolutely fucking insane. I understand it's because of backwards compatibility, but backwards compatibility reaches a point in which it is just stupid. And by FAT32, it had already reached it. So that was my least favorite file system. File format. Not exactly a file, it's a disk. But still, format to work with in general. Let's not say file format. Well, that was until yesterday. Because the dwarf file format exists. I had never worked with it before, and now I have. Fuck this file format. It is the stupidest file format I have worked with by far. Allow me to explain. Is this the correct spec? Because I'm actually working on it on my other computer and it's... Oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Okay, I just realized. Okay. This is... I need to use FAT32 because of the Raspberry Pi. And Redacted is mostly going well. I'm working on debug information, which is why I'm using this godforsaken file format. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tell you when your program crashes, it crashed on line number, column, and file. For example, if my program crashes here, well, that would be stupid in the middle of a sentence, but like if it crashes here, I will tell you, okay, your program crashed on line 20, column 23 of FAT32.cpp. Then you can go to FAT32CPP, line 20, column 23, and be like, oh, kalloc failed. Okay, so that's where it crashed. Got it. That's what I'm trying to do. The file format that my compiler is using, which is the one that these files use, is file format 5. Don't worry, they're both equally stupid. But 5 just happens to insert, I believe, this that was not there before. Yeah, it's new in Dwarf 5. Where did they add it? Straight up in the middle of the fucking format. It is needed in combination with the address size field to accurately characterize the address representation on the target system. Not sure what the fuck that means, because for me it's 0 and the address size is 8, which is perfectly reasonable, but whatever. Let's look at this file format real quick. So you look at the debugging information, which comes in the format of a program that you have to run with a state machine. Amazing work right off the bat. We have to have a state machine. Your program crashes, and you don't just go like, okay, it crashed on this address. Let me look up in a table what address, what file and what line it corresponds to. No. Let me run a different program to decode the table that I can then look up into to know what crashed. Okay, so that program starts with a header. The header starts with a unit length. It tells you the size of the data for the program. Except it tells you that without including the length of the field itself. This is a little bit vague. For instance, the size in bytes, is it a 32-bit value or a 64-bit value? Fuck you. That's what it is. Fuck you. Don't worry. You can figure it out. There's some other parts of the format. I just saw now by accident. I went to the wrong place. I'm on page 200 on my other computer, and it just so happens that this one gives you a little bit more information. It tells you that in the 32-bit dwarf format, which for whatever reason is the one that I'm using, I figured my program is 64-bit. I'm using the 64-bit ELF file, but for whatever reason, I'm on the 32-bit dwarf format. Fine. Okay. So I'm using the 4-byte value. Where do you get that information? From a completely different section. Amazing. Amazing fucking work. And then it tells you the size of the information without the field itself. So it's not super accurate, but at the very least you can kind of understand it. Okay, so then after that it tells you like the version, the dwarf 5 in my case. Oh, you have to pass GDwarf 64. Yeah, I'm not interested in doing that. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It tells you the address size. In my case, it's a 64-bit system. So it's a 64-bit address. So 8 bytes. Then whatever the fuck this is, it tells you that it's so important, but not sure what it means. Then you have the header length. You are currently in the header. And you have a field called the header length. So this is the length of the header, right? 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 It is not the length of the header. It is the length of the header from this point onwards. Not the full length of the header from this point onwards. Why? Fuck you. Literally just fuck you. Why do you want to know what line your program crashed in? There's absolutely no fucking reason you would want to know that information, bro. What the fuck? Just code in assembly and you won't have to have that type of shit. Pfft. Fucking amateur. The header length is not actually the length of the header. It is the length of the header from now on. Cool. Cool. This is their logo actually. It's just them doing this. Like up here. Look, if you zoom in, the little guy, he's actually doing this. Wait, one of my hands is off. He's doing this. You can barely see it. But if you have a keen eye, you can watch him do it. Fuck you, my dude. Fuck you. Your file format is ridiculous. This is the software upon which the vast majority of our computers run on. It's either this or React. Pick your poison. Either way, you're dying. It's two beavers disguising as a dwarf. I will give them points for calling it dwarf when the other file format is called elf. Good job on that one. a little less focus on the puns, a little more focus on common sense, you're golden. With that being said, I'm working on that. Thought I felt my computer vibrate when I touched it, but no. I'm working on that. Currently, it accurately decodes the first file. So I'm testing it on the user.elf, which is from the user folder in the system. It tells you accurately the line number information for this. I also am not yet decoding the file name. It just says file1. But yeah, at least it tells you this. And hell, this is the main functions of my program, so somewhat useful, but ideally we want it to give us all the information. The reason it's not working right now is it actually encodes multiple ones of these programs. So actually, when I said, oh, my program crashed, I need to load a different program to know where it crashed, that's actually inaccurate. I have to load a few different programs to know where it crashed. That's how you do it. That's the way that you do it. Great job, everybody. So I'm currently decoding the first program, but because of like how fucking weird this whole unit length and header length, this is an entirely different part of the format. Because of how weird these lengths are, I probably miscalculated the total length of the first unit of the program, the one for, you know, this. So now I'm once I decode the first part, my program freaks out and it's like, whoa, this data is fucking weird, because it's reading the next program's header as if it was still part of the previous program. So I'm miscalculating the height, not the height, the size most likely. I'm working on it on my laptop and I didn't want to commit it until it was working, so it's not on GitHub yet. Just gotta like double check my calculation for how I calculate the end of the program. And then we're good. Should be there. I also probably have to decode like the file name. God, am I looking forward to that. I'm expecting something. This time we're working with strings, so I'm expecting something just fucking incredible. Funny thing is, dwarves are known for their craftsmanship, but fuck these ones. Yeah, just absolutely fucking incredible. They can be stubborn little shits. Yeah, they're stubborn little shits. In fact, indeed, that part is accurate. That part is biblically accurate. All that to say a word that doesn't even really apply here. Dwarf 5-1 for files I could not figure out. Dwarf 4 is a little easier. Oh God. My Lord in heaven. You know what? I might just do this, you know. I'll tell you like program crashed at, you know, some address. Line 12 file. I'll just print this. That's the file. Yeah, but the idea is that I don't have to set a file format just to print fucking debugging information. The idea is that the debugging information format makes fucking sense. It shouldn't be that I have to forcefully do that. Because then, if someone compiles a program without setting the version to GDWRF 4, then my reader is not going to be able to tell them what's going wrong, and they'll have to figure that out themselves, which is not ideal. That the operating system is going to be like, hey, your program crashed. Hey, listen, I have the debug information that you provided me, so I could tell you what it crashed. I just don't feel like it. All right, so okay. Well, let's hope that today's program doesn't crash, because I am not in the mood. I'm not in the fucking mood. But at least we have... What did I even do 2 days ago? Last I streamed this. The dwarves just erased my memory. It's all just like gone. I created some sprites, I remember, because I used one. Whoop, I moved my camera so that doesn't align anymore. But I used one for the stream as well. So I created this little TV sprite. I created this little fridge sprite. And I created this little bed sprite. And yeah, you could use a library for it. That just fucking sucks. Ugh. So stupid. It's so stupid. It feels like they purposefully made their format complicated for no particular reason other than, well, we're making compilers. This is complicated shit. So if you're gonna be working with compilers, you gotta get used to complicated shit. Yeah. It feels like added complexity just for the sake of it. That's probably not it. It's probably just poorly designed. It's clearly not. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I'll tell you that much. That part I'm sure about. It's not making any sense. I don't think necessarily they added complexity just for the sake of it, but I do feel like they added complexity because who cares if we make it more complex than it needs to be? At the end of the day, we've already developed it and we already know how to parse it. So if you don't, hey, guess what finger I'm gonna hold up? The usual. All right, let me run the game now and be done with this. Your program is still 1 megabyte on debug builds. There seems to be an option to use zlib deflate to compress the dwarf infos. I will genuinely print an ASCII art middle finger to anyone who uses that. Whenever I detect that, oh, there's compression in this one, I'm just gonna be like, in the terminal. But it doesn't matter, there has been changes in the system. So I gotta pull those. What changes did I make to the kernel, bro? To the kernel? To the kernel? I see. All right. In lighter news, there was a bug with my PNG reader. It's a very simple bug. It's not a big deal. It probably didn't fix it entirely, but essentially when you decode a PNG, whether it's compressed or not, you read a bunch of data. That data is filtered. So it applies one of these filters, which is like, for example, this one is just like, okay, this pixel is its current value plus the previous pixel's value. This one is like, it's actually the current value plus the pixel above its value. 3 is like actually both of those things combined. And 4 is kind of like between the 3 pixels, like on the top left and to the left of this one. Whichever one is better. I don't even remember what the fucking logic was for this. Whichever one makes more sense, I guess. It uses that one. But all of a sudden, yesterday, the gray image that I use for testing, this one, had stripes on it. I was like, okay, something's going wrong here. So I must have broken something at some point. So I started looking at it, and the way that I was getting the color, it was a 24-bit color. And when it's 24-bit, I'm converting it to 32-bit by adding an alpha of FF, so an alpha of 1. But then that messed with the filter, and so it made it so that the alpha got progressively smaller until it reached 0, then it reset. So that's why it was giving the striped effect. Cool, fixed. Quick question. How did this work before? How was this working? It's not like the image changed, because I hadn't changed the image in a long time. It just randomly stopped working. It was like, oh shit, I forgot, I'm a bug. I make your program not work correctly. I was asleep, sorry, I was a little late. My alarm didn't go off this morning. So I was late, but here I am. Anyway, that's fixed. And now we can move on to the game, which we'll also want to make run. And let's see where I left off. I left off this game that we had... God damn it, networking is back on, and it's not working, and it's slowing down the entire system. That's why I modified the kernel. Nope, that's not gonna work. Alright, now it's gonna work. Get a compiler, run make clean, and then making again more errors than before, yeah. That's because, okay, we added zoom. And now these little humans are walking around and doing stuff. See, these two are going to the kitchen. The other guy is hanging around the bedroom. They're all just hanging out. They're all just doing stuff. Oh, I see a rendering bug. They disappear feet first, but they're supposed to disappear. Alright. So we have a little rendering bug with partial images, but the game itself mostly works. So how about I fix that? It's funny, but kind of not supposed to happen. Probably won't be too complicated to fix because it works fine on the x-axis, so it's probably just something I messed up on the y-axis. So it should be a pretty simple check what's different and fix it from there. Well, let me check. See, yeah, here they render correctly, and when he goes that way, he renders correctly. Alright, so it's probably something I messed up on the y-axis. That should be easy to fix. As long as it doesn't crash. If it crashes, I'm just out. I'm not in the mental... I don't have the mental capacity right now, and emotional capacity to handle a crash. It will make me crash too, actually. Because of the whole dwarf file thing. Alright, this is the logic for the rendering adjustments for the y-axis. It's doing everything that the x-axis is doing. Just doing it on the y-axis. Gotta make sure. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Loki W. I mean H. H minus Loki H. Height H max H 0. Not sure what that max H 0 is gonna do, since that's a uint 32, but suit yourself, I guess. Okay, so nothing obvious stands out. We'll have to actually read its logic. And it seems to specifically happen when you render a sprite. Because when you rendered a... with solid objects, I don't think it was happening, but we don't have any anymore. Well, yes, we do. The walls. And they work fine. So I want to focus on this, but not exclusively this. Could be something else. H, S, Y, Logic here looks sound, I want to say. But what happens when hold on. It's going to be a tough one to debug with printf or with anything because there's so many sprites in the world right now. Kind of a pain in the ass, but we can get one of the bed IDs and print that, maybe. Let me see. Create bedroom. Okay, here. So I'm gonna put a print here to tell me the entity ID of one of the beds. And I will choose that one and I will debug for that one alone. Maybe eventually I'll come up with a 21, 23, and 25. Okay. Eventually I'll come up with a system where you can focus on one specific entity and print debug information only for that entity. Feels like a useful thing to have, but right now we're gonna do it manually. Okay, 21, 23, 25. Let's do 21, which should be the bed on the left. So we're gonna print debug information for that one. If EID is 21, then you're gonna print the offset X, offset Y, or aux, if you will, width and height. All of those are floats. These are floats anyway. Then the width and the height are integers. All right. So we are going to print the lux, loc y, lux, lucky, w, and h. And we're going to see what's happening. All right, so right off the bed has a height of 0 because it's hidden. It's below us right now. As we get closer, it's going to start having a height. There it is. It's slowly starting to render until we reach the entire thing, and then it has a height of 150. Now we go lower, and the height starts reducing when it shouldn't. It should not be doing that. But what happens if I go here? Then the width will start reducing. But if I go here, Now the width does have to have start reducing, but then the offset needs to change. Yeah, there is empty space at the top of the sprite. But yeah, no, I'm printing the wrong information. That's why I was confused. This is off X and off Y, which tells me where they start rendering the image. That's why I was confused, okay. All right. Can you please stay in one place? Thank you. Just stay there. Stay there. All right. So right now the bed renders entirely with a 147 and no information is cropped out. When we move to that side, which, okay, to you, the camera, it's inverted. So when we move to this side, then the bed is going to disappear off of this side, and that is just going to make the height smaller, the width smaller without changing the offset. Indeed. When we do it on the other hand, on the other side, it's going to change both the offset and the width by equal amounts, so it's going to look like the beginning of it disappears. When we disappear this way, it's going to be the height changing. Exactly. But when we do it the other way, oh. Well, hold on. It's an offset of Y. That is correct. Like, the top of the image should start disappearing, except it's transparent, so we don't really see it. But the top of the image should start disappearing as the offset grows a little bit and the height shrinks by the same amount. So it looks like we're seeing the bottom part of the image. But instead, we're seeing the top part of the image. So then why does it work on the other axis? That's the question that I have. Also, why does the damn ghost not stop moving? I guess it has to do with hold on. It has to do with the object's location minus the camera position. God, my brain is just not braining today. Or ever, but especially today. Is the offset being applied wrong? The offset comes from start Y. That's correct. Hold on. All right, let me think about this. The start y is an offset. Instead of reading from the very beginning of the image up to h, we're gonna read from from an offset inside the image until h, which is gonna be reduced accordingly till the end of the image, essentially. And yet that's not what we're doing. Instead, we seem to always be reading from 0. But it's hard to tell because our image, our bed image, is, well, transparent at the top. And that makes it really hard to see. So yeah, it should be fine actually, so I don't have to modify the actual sprite. Or yeah, I can modify the actual sprite. It's probably gonna take less to load than GIMP. See, it's already loaded. I'm gonna create a new layer here. I'm gonna color the entire layer, and GIMP just opened. Purple. Close GIMP. And then export as bed.bmp. Export it, overwrite it. Yep. Fucking knew it. I'm on the wrong version of it. I have to open it through Steam. Why did I buy this damn thing through Steam? We're just gonna wait for Steam to open. Take your time, bro. Is it gonna update Vulkan shaders for it like it does for every single game, every single time you open them? Surprisingly, no. Oh, this is the actual image. All right, we can create a new layer here. We can paint it. I guess it's gonna be a darker purple now. Well, no, ideally something a little brighter than that. Fuck it, hot pink. Beautiful. We're going to save that as bed bump. Yep. No, I'm not gonna close it because it's gonna be a hassle to reopen it. We're just gonna run that. And we should be seeing if the image is just like being changed like this or like this. It should really be doing this, so something entirely different, but... Alright, there's the bed. Didn't see shit. Well, how are we gonna tell? Okay, well, it still has a height, and yet we cannot see it anymore. So... Wait a goddamn minute. Alright, hold on. The, this is probably wrong. It's using the image height to... Yeah, this calculation I feel like is entirely wrong. It's reducing the height by the offset. Because it's thinking that the image's entire height is actually... Well, it's not. It's not the entire height. Oh. Disappeared a little early there, but... Even when... Yeah, that optimization doesn't make sense because it's based off of the partial height, not the full height. For width it makes sense, for height it doesn't. And this one? Which is probably the one that's clamping it a little bit early. This one I feel like is correct. But what happens if I remove it? No, it still disappears. Okay, yeah, that one was correct. Alright, so let me see. Is it becoming 0 inside or outside the function? So right now the height starts to appear. Then starts to shrink. Okay, inside the function it still has a height. It still renders. I mean outside the function it still renders. But... yeah, this check is also wrong. Again, it's based off of the full height, not the partial height. That one's not it. Takes the height here, doesn't adjust it. Then if y, which is where it's gonna start drawing, plus the height is bigger than the context height, then the height gets adjusted to context height minus y. Again, feels correct. And yet, or there's also this check, which is if the y is bigger than the context height, which it isn't, because the context height, I mean the y is actually close to 0 right now, when the image is disappearing off the top. Let me comment this out again. Oh shit. Okay, never mind. It's not about commenting that out. It's about recompiling after I do this. Yep. 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 Yep, 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 yep. Alright. Bug fixed. removed height checks of partial height. We're gonna push that before I forget. And we're gonna go back to the game. It now works. Amazing. You know what? I am gonna build a very basic system for debugging what I just did right now. Focus on one specific entity and print information for that entity alone. It's a simple define of focus print focus print fmt ... It is going to if eid equals to the debug focus entity, we're going to printf the format and the va args. There. No. Doesn't even need a semicolon at the end. You'll probably put one there. Let's put one just in case. Actually, no. I don't want it. Okay, so we're going to have that. We're going to create this entity somewhere. And then we're going to allow, with a function, to debug entity eid. And all this function is going to do is set the debug focused entity to the eid. So now, to test this system, we're going to do the exact same thing I was doing before. Focus print, just the height this time. I don't want to write the whole thing again. I did the VA args wrong, so I've probably been doing this somewhere. Yeah, that's how you do it. According to this, that's how you do it. But oh, I forgot the thingies at the end. There. Okay. So back to AI, was it? No, ECS core. We're going to focus print the height only for the entity that you're currently debugging. And to test that, we're going to go into the setup. And if no debug focused entity, then debug entity bed should only be seen the print for one bed at a time. Maybe if I had done the width instead of the height, we would have known, but it does work. All right, so that's cool. That allows me to debug one specific entity without having to, you know, go into the game, find out what that entity's number is, and debug it. Like hard coding it, some if statements inside of it. So that's pretty cool. We're gonna commit that. I commit that and gonna undo the bed background. Okay. So, for the rest of the stream, we're going to ask generative AI to create some more art, and then I am going to never again show my face on the internet if I do that. So, let's not. And instead, probably populate the world with a little bit more going on. So, we need more objects, more people, and we need to test what happens. The problem is right now there's literally only 3 objects in 9 rooms and 3 people who constantly move around. So it's a little bit difficult to test the fear system in the game, which is the entire point of the game. So let's maybe put some actual objects that can scare people. What can we place in the game to scare people? By the way, currently they're always looking to the left, which with the camera flipped is that way. We'll probably have to fix that, but I don't know. Also, can I invert the camera real quick? No, this is not it. There should be a filter for that. Yeah, this one. This is exactly what it should be like. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That's the shittiest chroma key I've ever seen. And yet it's pretty good. For how shitty it is, it's pretty good. There's crop and pad, there's color correction, chroma key, luma key, render delay, scaling and aspect ratio, scroll, sharpen. Which one of these is supposed to flip the camera? Is it really that hard? I guess it really is that hard. Alright, I'll do that for next stream. I'm not gonna do that right now. Wait, I forgot to get rid of the filter. Alright. I'm back, right? Yes, I am. Well, my body's back. I've always been here, but yeah, I was just a floating head for a bit there. Alright. Gotta make some objects. Probably should also make some new like sprites for the ghost and for people and shit, but who cares? Who cares? What objects are there in a house? Even. A nightstand would be nice. There's an ad already. Well, if anyone gets an ad for furniture and has any ideas for furniture that I can make, please let me know after the ad. I will see you then. I'm gonna try to fix the camera while there's an ad. But for some stupid reason, instead of having my camera, I have it set up weird. So I have to put it in full screen to fix it. Alright, there seems to be no way of doing that. Did my camera freeze because I did that? Yeah, because pretty sure it froze. It's just frozen like that now. It's completely turned off. My camera is just turned off right now. What happened to you? Alright, I shouldn't have fucking done that. I shouldn't have done that. Am I back? I'm back. Okay, good. Now it's super off center. It leaves space for Jester, but he's not even here, so. Alright. There seems to be no way of flipping a camera in OBS that I can tell. I'm just gonna Google it real quick. Chairs and tables are probably a thing that I should add. Haunting a chair seems standard Ghost 101. Couch feels more complicated to do, to be completely honest. So, how to flip your OBS camera in 4 steps. 4 steps is about 5 steps too many to flip a fucking camera. Make sure that your camera is correctly displayed on the screen. This is not a given, as we just saw. If you need to add a webcam, I don't. Transform, okay. I see. Flip horizontal, okay. So I can just go here. Transform. Flip horizontal. Oh, that feels fucking weird. I'm so not used to that. I am so not used to my camera looking like that. Alright. I guess we're good. I guess the camera's flipped now. And now I can do left. And I'm actually pointing left. That's pretty cool. Alright. So I do agree. Chairs, tables, and couch. Don't think anyone on Twitch got any furniture ads. But if you did, please leave it in chat. Let me know what ad you got. If it was anything interesting about furniture. Last I saw an ad on Twitch, it was an ad about racism. So there's some pretty interesting ads on there. All right, let's begin with a table. Let's begin with a table. I'm so not used to my camera looking like that. I'm so confused. I'm also not sure why I'm making all my sprites like this. I'm just wasting space. Okay. Table. Should be a pretty simple one to do. Done. All right, let's do it properly, maybe. What size am I making it? The size is it 7 or is 7 the 7? Then here I want to put another one. 5. I don't know about that. I might get rid of the other leg, but height of this is 3, so leave 3 pixels on the side. Like that. Start here with a leg of size 7. I didn't calculate where it starts on the y, when it ends on the y-axis, I mean. So good job on that one. But roughly here. Perspective-wise, it doesn't look amazing. It looks okay, but it's a little bit too thin. Yeah, that looks better. That looks better. Now, did I do that? No, I didn't. There we go. It's a wobbly table. I made the legs different sizes. All right. It's also quite a sturdy table. This is a very thick table. So we might not want such a thick table. We can just delete that. It's a bit too much now. Can we just... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. But I guess that saves me some time if I just do it like this. All right. On top of that, I want to put some shading. If I make the entire layer just not fully opaque, should be able to use a lighter color without caring too much about what color it is, putting some very simple highlights, except it kind of makes the whole table look very shiny, so no. I can put some of this on it. That and like that. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right, I would say. So this one gets double shaded. This one gets shaded once. Here, and then here, and then loop here. Okay. Bookshelf. Yeah, because the living room right now is only going to have a couch and a TV, so... Very, just got my first apartment. It's very, reminds me of, like, this subreddit. Oh, wow, okay, this one is amazing. This subreddit has, like, incredible, interior design, or just the most bare bones shit you've ever seen. Or this, which is very bare bones, but also, like, very cool. I don't know, if you sort by best, it's probably not gonna be amazing. So can't you sort by controversial anymore? Damn it. You can't do that. Well, that's how I was expecting to see the best of the best. Not really helping me illustrate my point here. I guess this. This can be our living room. You know, I say this as if I hadn't been waiting to buy a goddamn table for literally months now. I should probably get on that. Actually, I found a table that I like now, so I probably will get on that soon. Alright, we have a table. I like it. I love how shading takes the stupidest fucking thing, literally just like 5 rectangles, and makes it into an actual table. I'm not entirely sure about the shading on the back here, but I'm not going too much into detail on the shading here. Table. We're also going to export it as table.bump. You see, I did this one without reference. I may not currently have a table, but I know what they look like. All right. Let's give him a... No, never mind. I was gonna say, let's give him a coffee table, and I could put it in front of the couch, but if I put it in front of the couch, it's gonna collide. You're never gonna be able to put it back in its place. So let's not do that. Let's not do that, and let's instead just give him a couch, a bookshelf maybe, yeah. Let's start with those two. All right, a bookshelf. There you have it. No books in it. It's a bookshelf from behind. Table in my living room is the thickest piece of table ever, though to be fair, it kind of needs, as it's made out of like the weakest wood. Is it bad that the table that I want to buy is a glass table? I feel like I can handle that. It's also not super expensive, so it shouldn't be a problem. All right. In terms of structure, it's very simple. The shading is going to do most of the work. So, let me do the shading first and then put some books in. Because I feel like the shading is going to help me figure out, you know, the size of the table and whatnot. The table? The bookshelf. The bookshelf. Come on, scroll down. Scroll down. Don't be afraid. Damn it. I did it wrong. There it is. Now here. Oh, it actually tells you the angle down if you look carefully. So 90 degrees. Beautifully perfect. All right. Do I have to do calculations? I don't want to have to do calculations. I'm just going to put it wherever these two end. That was wrong. Pretty sure it's the same type as the chairs anyway. Interesting. Now, actually, like, I don't know what got into my mom that made her want to get this table. But in our house in Venezuela, she has the sturdiest fucking round table, like fucking King Arthur. Did whatever he used to do on that table. Wait, I'm in the different layer. That was never gonna work. Also, that table has like a giant flower carved into it. No idea what got into my mom with that one, but hey, she's happy, I'm happy. Except I never liked that table, but hey, she's happy. It's her house. All right, we're actually gonna move. Hold on. Here. But I believe we determined. Wait. All right. All right, there we go. Okay. We're good. We're good. We're gonna go here. And here we're gonna draw bloop. Like so, except it's supposed to be the other color. Eyedropper. I already forgot all the shortcuts that I learned last time, so here we are. Then on layer 2, we're going to want to get this color again. With the eyedropper. And the line tool is going to draw a line. Oh my god. Except it is gonna be lighter now because of the transparency. Ah, for fuck's sake. I did not consider that, did I? But if I make the layer fully visible again, I can go here and match it to the rest like that. And probably add this color to the palette. There. We can bring back our bookshelf. Not liking the way it's coming out, but hey. At least it's doing something. Right here, layer 2. Yeah, correct. Oh, but I want to deselect, which you do with ESC. Kind of want to do that. No, this looks like shit. I don't think we want to do that. I think I'm actually making it too deep. Like, it's not that deep. I'm just looking at, it's not even a bookshelf, it's just a little thingy that I have behind me, but let's keep it real and just move on to the next sprite. I don't want to do this right now. We have the couch and we have the, or actually I could just look at reference chat. So there's that one. I know there's a setting for that. I don't know where it is. YouTube doesn't even know I'm online right now, so genuinely might not even know what's going on. Is there seriously no way to do this? I mean, I'll just have to delete it manually at the end of the stream and just remember to do that, actually. I know there's a way to do it on Twitch, I just can't find it. Store past broadcasts. Alright, so there's the option to just disable VODs entirely. But that's not what I want, I just want to disable this one. Alright, I've seen ads with that type of stuff. Yeah, the thing is that the ads make YouTube money. Whereas creators get paid money. So creators have much stricter guidelines to follow than ads. Also, amazing job on DuckDuckGo's part. Also on my part, because I didn't fucking notice it, but not until it was too late. But neither do they. Anyway, we're not gonna do the bookshelf. Alright, we're not gonna do the bookshelf. I'm taking that as a fucking sign. We have a couch, we have chairs, of course. Let's do chairs. Chairs feels like a safe option. So chairs are gonna be even smaller, not 300 pixels, 32 pixels, and then by height they're gonna be 64. Alright. If you don't know how to draw a chair by memory, then you probably failed as a pixel artist, which I am now branding myself as one. Wait, I just realized the wood, I was gonna say my wood, but that's not the right choice of words, even though I just said it. The wood kept getting progressively darker because to make the wood for this one, I used the shading color for this one, which is darker. And then to make the wood for the chair, I was gonna use the shading color for this one, which is even darker. So no, we want this one. Also, we want to go here. I'm probably not going to finish this one, but we want to use that. And then we want to add this color. Which is literally right here. So it's already in the palette. All right. Chair. That's the exact same thickness as the other one, isn't it? Did I? Oop, that's a bit too big. I don't know about this. This one isn't at risk, right? I'm scared of Googling. I feel like we're not at risk, but protected. Am I? Safe search strict. Is it? Is it actually? Is there rule 34 of the goddamn chair? No. It's just a chair. Cool. Not seeing anyone from the perspective that I'm doing, so I kind of, well, it's just this one, I guess. But I don't think that's the right one. Because it is the perspective that I got on the table correct. If you take the picture from right in front of it, it should be correct. Right? Yeah, kind of like this one, I guess. This is the closest I find. But we're not looking to do from the front, we're looking to do from the side. I'm not seeing anything. Getting a little scared that people are starting to show up and you never know what's gonna be next. Like 3D renders of chairs. Pretty good ones, actually. Well, okay. I guess I'm deleting this. Then I'm making that. Damn it. I didn't mean to delete that. Then I'm making that. Like that. And then, I kind of made a lot of the sprites like hover off the floor a little bit. Like the table sprite is hovering off the floor, which it's not supposed to. So, sorry about that. Loop. Damn it. Oh, that was not right. There. All right. Gotta export that. Give it a little back. It's the chair. It's giving chair. Oh no, I gotta make a cushion. not good at making cushions, but that should make a pretty good one if I do it like that. Yeah, you know what? What the hell? Yeah, that's a good cushion. I'm becoming more and more of an artist. Just amazing at this. Look at that. Fucking incredible chair right there. Did I save? I didn't. But I'm gonna use this one. Bloop. 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 No. Kind of like that, I guess. That doesn't feel like enough shading. It doesn't give it that, you know, that little, that. And yet, since apparently there's no reference images, I'm a little scared of looking for reference images as it stands right now. I guess it'll do. Also, I have to do about 1 million different sprites, so might want to knock these out as quickly as possible and just like improve on them later. Okay, chair export as chair bump. And there we go. This one isn't really going to be furniture. This one's going to be not safe search at all. This one is going to be, can we open the fridge? I need it for reference. Because we're going to make a kitchen. No cabinets and stuff. It would be nice if you could like haunt the cabinets and just make them like open. But I don't think I'm gonna have time to build something like that. And honestly, I don't think I'm gonna have the motivation to build something like that. Not for this game anyway. Maybe for the next one I will create a more complex animation system and then it is going to help make this game a little bit better. That's currently not my aim. So, we're just gonna do this, and the image is slightly bigger than I wanted it to be, but I guess this is for the condiments and stuff now. Actually, screw it. This one is for condiments and stuff. So it doesn't look like an afterthought. See? Gotta be smart about these things. All right. Then the cabinets, we're going to want them to be like that, kind of. That's a bit small. Maybe I should just make them like this. And actually a bit smaller than that even. No. A little further. Like that. I just realized there's a rectangle tool. By just realized, I mean I've been using it almost exclusively, but apparently I just don't remember. I should also do this in a separate layer and then merge it down. All right. That's good. Now, those look like cabinets, all right. Job accomplished. I did say I am an incredible artist. I wasn't fucking lying. Incredible in terms of delusion. Not really in terms of skill. All right. On top of that, we're gonna want an extra layer of just give them like a nice little like marble thingy going on here. Black marble, I guess. Which is that a thing? Is that not a thing? I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not the right person to ask about that. I should also probably have given them handles. So now I have to do it for every single cabinet manually. That's not aligned, is it? There we go. Except all of them are like... Screw it. That's good enough for me. I'm just gonna go here and I'm just gonna fix them manually. I cannot be bothered to do anything more complex than this. Why change all the handles one by one when you could just change them all together, mess up the cabinets, and just fix them one by one? And they actually have two sides, so you have to do it twice. Right, then the handle for this one... You know what? Let's go a little crazy with it. Holy shit. I've done it again. Isn't that the best kitchen you've ever seen? Don't say no. Cabinets. Beautiful. I gotta shade them though. So, real quick with the shading, just gonna throw in a little bit of this one, little bit of this one, little bit of shading down here, and like here. This for the kitchen? I sure hope so. Yes, it is for the kitchen. Huh? Wait, one of the cabinets is wrong. Is chair the only one starting with a capital letter? It's not starting with a... No, it's not starting with a capital letter. If you mean the layer name, the... Yeah, I think I know what you mean. And no, it's not. Okay, back to... I should also name these damn layers. I never do that. Is Jester coming to visit? Jester! Here he comes. Alright, he's here. Everybody be nice. Ubuntu looks cleaner than you remember. Ubuntu has always been pretty clean. I think. Alright. Fucking beautiful. Literally, the shading takes it from like a super mediocre pixel art to a mediocre pixel art, but not super mediocre. That's a big deal. That's a big deal, honestly. Cause I'm not hiring an artist for this for this game. Also, I do 3D. I don't do 2D. I mean, I'm doing 2D right now because I have no other choice, but that's only because I didn't have enough time to build an entire 3D renderer. Ubuntu in 2010 was not this clean? I don't know what it looked like in 2010. No, I'm interested. Hey. Damn. I feel like... Damn. This was not that good. This was not that good. It looks a lot... It looks very similar. Wait, didn't have these on the left side. Damn. They wanted to be Mac so bad. Interesting. I thought the terminal had transparency in it, but no, it's just a very similar color to this. For its time, it's definitely not terrible. I mean, what Windows was... Was it Windows 8? Uh, 89, 90, 95, 2005, 2009. Windows 7 was the big Windows back in 2010. So they moved past Vista, but what the fuck is that? It's actually so irrelevant that you can't even see it. They're just showing you wallpapers. This is what Windows looked like. It's not a bad interface. It's not ugly. But, you know. What did Mac have going on for it? I mean, MacBook looked like this. This was fucking absolute peak fucking computing. I'm a little bit biased, as you can tell, but absolute fucking peak computing right there. Both the hardware and the software. This MacBook Air design is the best by far. The what are they called? The space wallpapers felt so futuristic. And pretty good. And this was still the old Apple, the skeuomorphic designs, which I believe they changed around 2013 or so. Windows 11 is just throw it all out. Design-wise, I was using it until a few months ago. I genuinely couldn't even tell you. I just blocked all those memories out. El veloz murciélago hindú comía feliz. Cardillo y kiwi. La cigüeña tocaba el saxofón detrás del palenque de paja. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Anyway, this is what Windows 11 looks like. With a font, apparently. Windows 11, I guess. It's not the worst. Windows is like... Its design has never stood out to me. For good or for bad. I've never looked at Windows and been like, okay, that's beautiful or that's ugly. Even Windows Vista. it had a little something. It had a little something that makes it not completely terrible. Had a little Fruitiger arrow to it. That was like, all right, you can stay for now. You're on thin ice because you're Windows, but you can stay for now. Also had that like bubble wallpaper. That was pretty cool. Mac has always been pretty good looking. Linux tends to be all over the place, to be honest. I guess Ubuntu was okayish, like the one that you told me about in 2010, but yeah, not this one. This is not Ubuntu. This is Ubuntu. I guess it looked okay for 2010. It's just giving free and open source software in a bad way. It's like, yeah, we're not as good. We can't compete with the designers that are, you know, hired by Microsoft and Apple. We're doing our best. I don't mean that in a bad way, because they are doing their best and they are not hired designers. It's more so given like, yeah, user interface is also a secondary thing to us, which is what I've always felt when it comes to Linux. Headless MacBook M1? Interesting. Hyperland? I don't know what Hyperland even looks like, to be honest. See, this one's not giving the same user interface. Is a secondary, is an afterthought to us. Why is this in Italian? Yeah, the design is very varied. According, you know which one I don't know about? Linux of the month. Monarchy. Wait, I feel like something's gone wrong. I feel like DuckDuckGo has failed me again. It looks nice. It looks okay. It just feels like... Oh, yeah, this is what it looks like. Okay, I saw a video of someone installing it, so I do know what it looks like, I guess. A little flat. Not gonna lie. It feels very Linux distro of the month. By November, we're gonna have a new one. That's what it feels like. And also, I find it funny that people go to a highly customizable distro only to then use a pre-customized version of it. I understand it. It's just funny. All right. Gonna keep doing some pixel art. We can keep talking about operating system design because we're not explicitly doing operating system development, so might as well. Not super convinced by this one, to be honest, but gotta keep moving. Isn't most modern stuff nowadays flat? Yeah. Besides Mac, at this point. As of September. Pretty much everything else is super flat. Well, flat design has always come with a perception of depth that I'm not seeing here, for example. So let me like open the screenshot and see it properly before I judge it. Yeah. So flat, yes, but flat with depth, which sounds counterintuitive. Is flat design the name of it? Because like I'm thinking in terms of Mac and Apple. It used to be skeuomorphic design, and then no, I mean we're We're here to talk operating system development. Mine is flat as fuck, by the way. Because I haven't bothered with the user interface. I probably will give it a little bit of love in November or December. Actually, in November. Someone who actually left the chat a while ago modded it a little bit the other day. That looked pretty cool. Yeah, Flat UI is the name of it. I feel like these are not amazing. Also, Arya Stark has 2,000 likes and 5,000 followers and 24 watchers. I want to know what that is. Okay. Let me look for a good example of flat design, though. Okay. Discord? Yeah, you can type exclamation point Discord and you can get a link to it. Yeah, it's called flat design. Although, okay, iOS 7 was not the best for it, to be honest. This was not amazing. But see, it had the way that Apple did it. Okay, this is iOS 16 to be fair. They had like blur and stuff. This was very flat. You can't really like there's no perception of depth between this screen and what's below it. And that really sucks. Whereas here there is it's kind of very subtle. You don't like right now the screenshot is very small. You don't see the shadow behind it. You don't see the depth, but you perceive it. That makes it pretty cool. For Omarkey, like what I'm seeing here is I'm not really perceiving the depth difference between the screen that's currently here and the desktop below it. So I find that it's not link layer protocols. Really? Alright, I gotta investigate this, honestly. I gotta look into that. Yeah, what I'm seeing here is that, mainly. I feel like a little bit of shadow, even in their screenshot where they show it, they have a little bit of depth. So it separates the screenshot from the background of the screenshot. It doesn't feel like the operating system itself has that in its UI, and that to me makes it like very flat. Like I found it super noticeable. And to be fair, like when I looked up just flat design UI with before the iOS thing, most of this also suffers from that. I feel like when Apple does it, they've done it pretty well. Now they've moved on to liquid glass, which is essentially just the same but glossy on top of flat. So it's kind of a flat version of their Aqua design from macOS. The first one. Or OS 10. The first OS 10, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's a 0. That's not a no. Like this design. It feels like a new version of this. Alright, what was the other thing? Apple has their own link layer protocols. Wait, okay, hold on. Which one's the link layer? I gotta look at that first. Also, gotta move a whole bunch of networking code out of the shared library. It shouldn't be here. ARP and Ethernet. What? They have their own? Legacy networking protocol for Apple devices. Apple Talk. Really? Wait, yeah, that looks like something a little old. I remember when the thumbnail got messed up and it said liquid ass because of the YouTube play button on top. Sadly, did get fixed. Seriously? I'm gonna search for it, but I've learned my lesson. I'm gonna do it off stream. So if you're gonna search liquid ass. Alright. And then they fixed it. Great job. I do like this design because it's still flat in terms of like it doesn't have a whole lot of colors. It's not fully skeuomorphic like their original iOS designs were, because that was supposed to replicate the real object that the UI represents. It doesn't do that anymore. Now it's just pure abstraction, but in a very reminiscent way of the Aqua design from way back in the day. I'd never heard of AppleTalk. They discontinued proprietary suite of networking protocols developed by Apple Computer for the Macintosh computers. Yeah, we're talking 40 years ago. Wow. Local area networks to be connected with no prior setup or the need for a centralized router or server of any sort. Fucking incredible right there. Connected AppleTalk equipment systems automatically assign addresses, update the distributed namespace, and configure any required internetworking routing. Was released in 85. Primary protocol used by Apple devices through the 1980s and 90s. I'm assuming they deprecated it with macOS 10. The rise of TCP IP during the 90s led to a re-implementation of most of these types to support on that protocol. And AppleTalk became unsupported as of the release of macOS in 2009. It's a luxury SUV. Smooth ride, packed with features, everything works, but don't expect to do your own repairs. Yeah, that's about right. That's actually very accurate. It's definitely luxury though. Like, Linux is like an old car. Like a vintage car, sorry. Let's not call it old because Linux is not old, and actually the Mac kernel is way older. But it's very high maintenance. Even fucking Ubuntu is very high maintenance. I don't even want to know what that red little thingy is that showed up when I turned on my computer today. It's something about packages. Apparently a package I installed has unmet dependencies or something like that. I'm not gonna lie. Today I was thinking like, I just want to make my own internet, be like make it absolutely impossible for anything AI generated to reach me. So I was thinking like, should I just make, I have my own operating system. Should I just make it operate on its own networking stack? Probably the guy that contributed a lot of improvements to the networking stack would kill me. But he might kill me, or he might be like, wow, that sounds really cool. Let's implement protocols from scratch just for the sake of it. We don't have to deal with TCP ever again. Let's do it. Don't know which one it's gonna be. So could be either one. Couch shouldn't be a complicated pixel art to do. Something like this, maybe? I was thinking something a little rounder than this. Angle lid sensors? I have no idea what that is. But I'm assuming it has to do with, like, iOS, iPhone repair, most likely. Can I just do... like that, and then like that. Except it is now off screen. But we can fix that. No, it's not anymore. Okay. A 4-seater couch. That's a new one. I guess it's not, but feels like a new one. Also, I feel like developing your own operating system, at the very least for me, has just sent me down a rabbit hole of let me just make literally everything myself. I don't want to have a single dependency in my damn projects ever again. I don't ever want to use anyone else's code besides my own. Or at the very least, code that I very vaguely reviewed. Okay, there's an ad on Twitch. That's amazing. So let me run that. I'll be back in 3 minutes. I know I keep lying about leaving, but I want to look into the Apple talk. Can't have Nugget have dirty clothes? Wait, they're all called Nugget. I just realized. They're all called that. I don't remember which Apple keynote I watched recently. It must have been the presentation of OS X, most likely. So at the time that Steve Jobs was back in the company, they were using his kernel to build macOS, which was based off of BSD, which Mark kernel, if I'm not mistaken, a bunch of kernels just Frankenstein together into what is now the Darwin kernel. I feel like I remember him talking about conforming to a standard. So I'm assuming that's when they stopped using this and started using their own. And I remember him specifically saying something like, once the industry decides what standard that they're going to settle for, we're going to conform to it. It was something like that he said. So they had physical, local talk, Ethernet, token ring, and FDDI driver. And these sound fiber distributed data interface. Optical fiber for a local area network is interesting. Local talk, the particular implementation of the physical layer of Apple Talk. And token ring. By IBM in 1984. EtherTalk, Local Talk, Token Talk, and Fiber Distributed Data Interface. Then the Datagram Delivery Protocol, or DDP. I feel like I've heard about this one. And yeah, there's no information on it. Are we back on Twitch? We're back on Twitch. There's the Apple Filing Protocol. What is that? The Apple Talk Filing Protocol is a proprietary network protocol and part of the Apple File Service that offers file services for macOS, classic macOS, and Apple II computers. Interesting. So it's what they were using before SMB. Nice. Now if they would all just use 9p. Not that it's a good one, but hey, would be nice. Alright, so it's decided I'm making my own internet. Where ChatGPT won't exist. It's gonna be shitty. But at least ChatGPT won't exist. So it's gonna be less shitty than this one. I'm probably not actually gonna do that. But you never know. You never know. I might genuinely get fed up and wanna do that. Yeah, exactly. Why I would wanna do it. Just to stay away from AI. So tired of it. But hey, at least now you can date it. Fucking psychopathic behavior. Alright, size-wise they're good. Then it's a bit hard to see. Let's make it like a peach colored little thing just so I can see it real quick. Then magic. All right. Like that. Then we're going to go to a different layer. We're going to give it a different color just so we can see all these layers coming together. It's selected. Fuck. That's good. And then the cushions are going to go on this. Except all the layers are backwards, but no. Wait. This one needs to be in the very back. Yeah, like that, like that. That makes sense. Okay. Yes. I'm just gonna make the cushions. God, I hate doing this part. Let's make them like this blue color. Oh, you can't see them. Also, if I make a completely proprietary protocol, I don't ever have to deal with UDP again. I mean, with TCP again. Doesn't that just sound incredible? Isn't that just fucking amazing? If you've ever implemented TCP from scratch, yes, that sounds amazing. God damn, what a god-awful protocol that is. He said while using the worst colors ever seen by humanity to make a couch. In the worst way possible. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm doing here with the cushions, but I'm not liking them. What did the Apple file system protocol actually look like? Do we have a... Oh, right, no. They're proprietary. Alright. I'm gonna get on that. In December, I'm implementing my own internet. After that, you're gonna need to be on my operating system in order to be able to watch my streams. So viewership is gonna be even lower. Don't you need to draw the couch facing away from the camera? No, it's not gonna go in front of the TV. Because that's gonna create collision issues. We don't want to do that. It's not gonna be super accurate, but whatever. All right, I feel like I should do shading before I even attempt to no, those should be there. Those should stay. This one could go kind of like that. No, that one should stay too. Okay. How do I even handle shading? Let me see. First off, the color that I used for the couch is the color that I should have been using for the shading. So that's not helping. Okay, this is the layer. I guess you can sleep on the couch. It's mostly just gonna be decoration. I feel like not really gonna bother with making it usable necessarily by them anyway, because that would require using two objects at once. That's an entirely different can of worms that I don't want to open right now, or like ever, really. I'm completely honest with you, but definitely not right now. I'm using the pencil tool, not the line tool. The cushions are a little bit flat, but maybe that's just because I see them in their color right now, in a completely different color. Everything's supposed to be brown. Maybe then it won't look as bad. Who knows? Guess we'll find out when I'm done with this. Reuse everything from the bed. Oh, for sleeping on the couch? Yeah. I just don't think it's something I want to do. Okay. Whoops. Oh, shit. I hit the layers and I don't know how I did that. See? No. Alt? Windows key? Clearly not. Onion skin. What is onion skin? Whatever. Show... Shit, which one is it? Oh god. Right as I need to go into the layers, I lost them. I don't know how to do this. Layer, properties, visible, lock layers, new, delete, complete. No. Help. Help. layer edges? No, that's not it. That's a different thing. Grid, tiled mode, symmetry options, set loop, timeline, preview, advanced mode. I'm in advanced mode now. Wait, you said I could go back with Control F. I just got rid of my entire UI. Okay, there it is. It's back. I just had to press it twice. I'm looking for the layers that used to be down here. I pressed a key. I don't know what key that was, and now they're gone. I kind of shouldn't be pressing random keys either. I don't know. I was pressing the spacebar and all of a sudden I pressed that one by accident. Not sure how I did that. Oh my god. Is there like a reset UI? It's not under view that I can see. At least let me try refresh and reload team. That didn't do anything. Preview. Hide other layers. No. Timeline. No. 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 None of these options. None of this. My god. What happens if I create a new layer? Okay, that shows it. All I had to do was create a new layer in one that I don't care about. Cool. Glad it's easy and intuitive to do. All right. Let's go with the shading now for you and you and you and you. Oh, thank God it's starting to look normal. Jesus, finally. Ooh, good. I forgot the doesn't have legs. Probably won't have legs. Exactly, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Way bigger than that. Now we can go to layer 5. We can switch to shading and we can shade the legs. And we'll also want to shade this side. And we may also want to shade this a little bit, maybe. No, that doesn't feel right. But I do want to shade. That's so much harder to shade everything now that it's all the different, the same color, I mean. View timeline? Timeline. And I press tab. Okay. Timeline is the layers. Right. Totally. Obviously, how did I not see that? It's so clear. Timeline because it does animation. Yeah, to be fair, this isn't just for layers. I'm using it for layers because I haven't done animation. It's just kind of weird. you know? I don't love the way the couch came out. I just don't want to spend too much time on it. I do need to make this bigger. And it's shading. Okay. Maybe... I want to put an extra layer on that one, because I feel like it was going to just collapse in on itself. Okay, we're going to call this one Kosh. And we're going to also export it as a bump. Good. Now, the bedroom is the main one that needs a few more sprites. So I'm just going to make a very simple 64 by 64 nightstand. This one shouldn't take too long to do. Kind of speed running it, to be honest. Yeah, no, let's not do it like that. Let's just do it like this. And without feet, ideally. Now, it does need to be thicker than that. No, that's too thick. No, it's not. Never mind. We're gonna give it quick shading. And I could make lamps, but the lamps are like not gonna affect the world in the slightest. Because I am not about to create a lighting system. Oh, it just kind of makes sense. For there to be lights, you know. Wasn't I thought I was doing the entire thing. I'm clearly not. Wait, what am I doing? Shifting that. Okay. It feels crooked now. What did I do? Alright, no, I think what I should do instead of this is to select this layer. Make it bigger. And then in this layer, make this part lower. Ah, screw it. Like that. Oh, didn't mean to rotate you. And like that. Alright, nightstand. It's good. That's good. No, it's not. It's pretty damn awful. In fact. We then want to do some drawers. Just one lower than that. I'll put another bigger one. And then layer 2 is going to take care of, their shading. And then layer 4 is going to have to take care of their handles, which I'm not currently doing. Damn it. That is not. Okay, and now the magic trick of just lowering the opacity. Okay, the handles are a little bit too big. Feel like that's better. And then I want them to also have some semblance of a shadow to them. And maybe I want to make it a little bit more opaque because it's a bit hard to see. Okay. That's called a nightstand. And can be exported as a nightstand, as a bump. And then I can import them. Maybe not into the networking stack of the operating system, but into the game. Just a thought. Maybe. Maybe I'll want to do that. Or maybe not. I did say I want to design a new internet, so fuck it. It uses BMP images somehow. Wait, Windows auto full screens to some apps. What is that? What's going on? Wait, some apps, not all of them? That's even scarier, I feel like. I don't know. It's Windows though, what do you expect? Okay, let's start with a nightstand. We can do create object. We're gonna have to give it a location. And the location is gonna be in front of the bed. 3. No. 8. With a size of probably 2 by 2. Same height as a person, actually. Kind of weird. It's gonna be in resources nightstand.bmp. And why do I even pass a color to this? It's not really a thing anymore. I was thinking of doing like tinting. So we're keeping it for the time being in case I want to do that. But I probably don't want to keep it for too long. I'd start like Minecraft or Roblox in full screen when I didn't put it in full screen. Oh, but games? I guess they made some internal change that forces the games to be full screen or whatever. Wouldn't be surprised. Okay, do we have nightstands? We have nightstands. Fucking incredible. Not gonna lie, the whole like networking thing left me wondering what other alternative networking stacks have existed. Because I actually don't know. Obviously, TCP/IP only took up popularity in (1989), as outlined in RFC 1122. Requirement for internet hosts communication layers. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh lord. Let's not read that one. Let's not do that. Let's just keep making silly little sprites. Yeah, actually, Kosh. It's gonna be create object. Its location. Okay, so the location of the TV is the location of the room plus 3. So we'll put the couch after that. Which is a 5 or even a 6. A little bit separate from the TV because otherwise I strain. That's never a good thing. Its size. How do I keep pressing the insert key even when my hand is nowhere near it? I'll never know. But it keeps happening. Let's try 4x2. We'll probably have to change the size of that. Then resources couch.bmp. Color, again, we're making it 0, but we're not getting rid of the property. And in the kitchen, there is also the cabinet. Which are getting created in the... There you are. I pressed that key by accident a while ago. The calculator took forever to open. Its size... I can try to make it room size x minus 3. And then 2. Its path is going to be resources cabinet.bmp. Gotta double check all the names, but there we go. All right, we got nightstand, we got table, and chair are missing. Oh shit, I haven't done those. All right, let me do what I... God damn this calculator. And whoever put a calculator button on this keyboard. Still baffled as to why you would do that. You know what this gaming keyboard needs? A calculator. Okay, one of them I got wrong. Probably cabinets. Yeah, I got that wrong. That's there. And the couch is there. And look at that. How cute. Alright, so the cabinet is cabinets with an S. I wasn't sure if that was needed or not. I should have double checked, but I didn't. Okay. And then I want to create a void create dining room. We're in 32T to T room index. I don't know why I always struggle to read this. It's 32 by 2T, but I never know how to read it. All right, get that. And then they're not going to overlap, but they're not designed to overlap. There's just a problem with the chair. And it's the fact that I only designed the chair to go one way, and there's no way to make it go the other way. And also my camera is very narrow. Kind of losing some... vital information there. As long as you can see him. Life is good. Okay. The location of the table. The size of the table, it's gonna be a 4x3. 4x2 probably. Its path is going to be resources table.bmp. Its color is gonna be 0. Its location is going to be the room location X, the room location Y. I do have to add image flipping because right now both chairs are going to be facing the same way. It's going to look weird, but we don't have that right now, so it's fine. Also, flipping the people is going to be a useful one, and flipping which way they're facing also matters. Currently, I'm not doing that. I should be doing that. Shouldn't be too difficult. Maybe today I'm gonna do that. Just the flipping of their visual, not the image. I doubt I'm gonna do the image flipping today, or maybe I am. I don't know. All right. Plus three. That. And then we're going to want to place chairs. It's going to be very similar to this. It's going to be 2 of them. CH1 and CH2. One of them is going to be located at 1. And its size is going to be a 2 by 2. And the other one is going to be located at the 3 of this one and 4, 7. And it's going to be a 2 by 2. And they're going to use the chair sprite. And that is it. And then maybe we'll want to call this function so we actually create a dining room. It's going to be on the same level as these. In 32 by 2t. Hey, I said it right this time. All right. On 1, 2. That's the index of the room that they're going to be located at. But also, the top rooms we're going to populate it with more people. Populate with more people. Hey, chairs are a little small. They enter the room right into the... Oh, the cabinets are here now. Wait, we can see it zoomed out. Damn, the house is starting to look pretty cool. And people are starting to do stuff. All right. What did I say was wrong? The chair size. The chair size. Makes sense that the chairs would want to be taller than the table. Usually that's how it goes. Not always, but usually that's how it goes. All right. Looking good. Now, I genuinely cannot stop thinking about the networking protocols from Apple because I did not know this was a thing and I need to know more about it. I need to know more about this. I need to find information about this. Because actually, I don't know. I barely know anything about what Mac was like before. The Next Step Mac. So when Steve Jobs' Next Step merged with Apple, I don't know what came before that in terms of what Apple was doing. Besides that, it nearly got them bankrupt. Oh well. No, I don't know about bankrupt, but they weren't doing amazing. I do know that. Okay. Shit. The game's there. Alright, I'm never gonna touch this project ever again. No, there's still a whole bunch of stuff to do. Okay, sprites for cabinets, chairs and tables, nightstands and couch. Let me do the flipping of the visuals when the people are looking in opposite directions. There is a look at component, which is what they're currently using to look. Bet you never would have guessed that if I hadn't said it. But that is the way that it is. And there is also a path following component, which God knows where that is. Should be an AI probably. Or no, it's a main actually, I think. No. Then it's in game. It's in game. Okay, here it is. And this one has a direction here. Which can then be used to, let's say, multiply the look at direction using the sign. Maybe inverted, I'm not sure. We'll see. Yeah, I'm talking about flat interfaces, like my system doesn't look like... Okay, hold on. This damn visual glitch that's been happening for over a month and I haven't fixed. Talking about flat interfaces when mine looks like this. Oh well. Now I have transparency, so I might actually add shadows. I might do that. It seems to never... Wait, hold on. Am I switching the eye? No, the target. Wait, okay. Multiplying it. Means that when they're looking in one direction, it's always going to be flipped. When they're looking in the opposite direction, it's... That's not right. That's not right at all. But just using sign should be enough because currently the target is 1 or -1. Yeah, now they have Nothing. So wait, what was the value of this? -1? They're currently looking at -1. So what's making it fail? Now they're looking at -1 or 1. Okay, it just doesn't render properly when they're looking in the opposite direction. The code for that is in... I never know where my code is. It might actually be here. And render, draw debug line, yeah. It should work. Like... I should be accounting for drawing an image backwards? Although, that's... Wait, they're drawing it backwards. That works. What doesn't work is the other one. Oh, wait. Hold on. Might be able to fix it real quick. Pretty sure because of the math that I'm doing on it, it ends up being 0 when they're looking in one direction. Yep. But now it makes their... Okay, that's wrong. That should account for it properly. No, 3 is too big. Was supposed to be... No, it's good, it's good. Right, so you can see the bed moving, can't you? Wait, it's stuck. What the hell? Never mind, the bed got stuck. Why am I getting stuck? I don't get it. Oh shit, when I try to move in multiple directions, it doesn't actually let me? No, I can. Oh, I just got stuck on the chairs. Yeah, the colliders are not amazing. Wait, why am I no longer following the player? Oh god, okay. I'm gonna have to fix some bugs on this shit. It's, a buggy mess. But the game is there. Technically. Yeah, collisions are not amazing. That's kind of a problem. I'm gonna have to implement, like we talked about, a minimum bounding box type of thing. Because this is what the collisions look like right now, and they don't make a whole lot of sense. It's very restrictive on the movement. Also, these guys move around a lot, and it's hard to tell how afraid they are. And then, that's glitchy as hell. All right. So that kind of gives me something to work on next time. This can always be improved more, but good enough for now. Okay, that's what I want to do. Next time being tomorrow, by the way. I want to implement a minimum bounding box so that the collisions happen on the visible sprite and not on the invisible part of the sprite that you can't actually see, and that kind of makes moving around very difficult. And also for debugging purposes, because it's really hard to tell what's going on, a fear bar for people. I need to be able to see how afraid they are, and so long as there was just one person, it was easy enough to just print that. But that's not so easy anymore, and so it might make the game incredibly difficult to debug if I don't see how scared they are and how unscared they're getting. Because now that they can move around and they're not just in one room, I'm gonna have to rebalance the fear system so that they don't lose fear as quickly. So that I can chase them around the house and actually scare them instead of just... Well, so I can do that, but, you know, in the time that it takes for them to move to a new location, for me to follow them and possess a new object and scare them with that, they might lose their entire fear. I have no way of knowing that right now, so it makes it really difficult to debug this type of thing, so I'm not even gonna bother. Because these two things actually make it very difficult to debug. So this is what I'm going to be working on tomorrow, but I think today that might be the end. At the very least, the end of the gaming part. Well, the game development part. Honestly, I wouldn't have minded doing the dwarf thing if I had started it on stream, which I didn't, and that's not amazing. And also, if I didn't hate it. Because I really, and also if it wasn't in a different computer right now. But I think more so, I might just leave the stream here. Install this. Nah, definitely never doing that. And tomorrow, then I'm gonna do a little bit more of the last few things of game development, and hopefully I'm gonna have the dwarf file format figured out. And probably gonna start the stream by complaining about the format a whole bunch like I did today. Because fuck that format. And hopefully, though, even though I'm gonna curse it out a whole bunch, I'm gonna be able to parse debug information on what's going on in your program. When it crashes, it will tell you exactly where it's crashing, which is pretty cool. It already does that, but like, besides the address where it's crashing, the file and function where it's crashing. So that's gonna be useful, but gonna do that hopefully by tomorrow. I'm gonna have it. All right, that's the end of the stream for today. Tomorrow's stream is at 3 p.m. CEST, Central European Time. That's about 16 hours from now, to be completely precise. Going to try to end the stream before the ad starts on Twitch in 6 minutes. Sometimes me ending the stream lasts for 10 minutes, so I'm going to try not to do that, but the more I speak about it, the longer I am dragging it out. All right, let me stop doing that. All right. Yeah, so next stream is at 3 p.m. CEST, 2 p.m. UK time, and you can translate to your own time zone from that. And I will see you then. Okay, that was short.